What's up, guys? Back in me is with the Fosters, Season 2, Episode 11, Christmas Past. Okay, so this episode basically picks up with Callie and Brandon kissing. And yeah, that's basically where it picks up. With Callie and Brandon kissing, and Brandon actually pulls away from Callie. And Brandon's like, I can't do this. And she's like, I'm not, and Callie's like, I'm not getting adopted. And she's like, I love you, Brandon. Where, yeah. And Brandon's like, I can't do this, and walks away. Where Brandon gets into a flashback of Callie and Jude's first Christmas with the Fosters. That's where the Christmas pack comes into. Where, yeah. So, basically, this episode takes place after Adoption Day, sorta. Before Mariana joined dancing because she has black hair. Because she has her black hair. Brandon in a singlet because of his broken hand. So So even Sharon's here, So for some reason, even though this episode's supposed to take place before before Lena did not have her baby, they don't mention it at all. Like, it's not even mentioned about Lena still being pregnant, even though she's not in the current episode. But this is supposed to take place in a flashback, but they do not mention it at all. It's like even though this is supposed to be a flashback, and since it's a flashback counting Jude's first Christmas, Lena was still pregnant at the time, they do not show it or mention it at all. It's like they don't even mention it at all. It's kind of like, yeah. I guess it's supposed to be like Leah's not pregnant anymore because she lost her baby, but this is supposed to be prior, so this is supposed to be prior to that, like during Christmas. So for them not to mention it at all in these Christmas flashbacks just make no sense. It's supposed to be when Lena was. So for her not to mention it at all just makes no sense. It's like it was completely forgotten. I get it, in the current episode she's not pregnant because she lost the baby, but these are flashback episodes. If Lena was pregnant in these flashback episodes, because they mentioned Jude and Callie having the same different. Jude just finding out that he and Callie have a different dad, so Lena would have still been pregnant. She would have still been pregnant. Yeah, she would have still been pregnant. Yeah. So yeah, well anyway, aside from that, there's also a thing with Jesus and Mariana. There's a thing with Jesus trying to enter this competition, but there's this other competitor who has his like stuff deflated by teenagers, and he basically yeah, I feel like this episode, yeah. So Lena reveals her parents aren't going to be in this. Her parents aren't going to be there because they're spending their Christmas with Lena's dad's first son, Nathan. Because before Lena was born, her father had another wife, and they had a son named Nathan. So Lena never got to grow up with Nathan because she never knew him. And then, as we know, her father remarried, had Lena, and she never knew Nathan. So I think she knows Nathan. But yeah, when Callie and Steph and Lena are talking about that, about having two different set of parents, Jude gets upset. So Lena has to explain to him. Jude gets upset because at the time at the time found out that he and Callie didn't have the same father, Donald Robert. So basically, Jude just doesn't run upstairs and cry. He just gets on bicycle and rides off. So Lena confronts Steph about how Jude overheard it. So Lena does explain to him about Nathan, as I just said. So yeah. There's also Sharon in this episode, and she doesn't do much in this episode. She's just there. Steph finds like $150,000, $100,000 credit to Steph's dad, which Steph thought Steph's dad gave it to his wife, Steph's mom. So Steph confronted her mom about it, and yeah. So yeah. So Callie and Jude are going to this like like jewelry store and bring you know this jewelry store, and that's when Jude sees this bracelet that he hides and shows him that he gives it to Callie, but he goes and and, and says that's a lot of money, but she says that it's actually 60% off, and she's like Happy Kwanzaa since Hanukkah. She's from Hanukkah. She says Happy Kwanzaa. So yeah, so it said Merry Christmas. So yeah, so yeah, so so yeah. So why? So yeah, since this is before Wyatt and Callie, broke up, Wyatt Callie gets a present from Wyatt, which is a which is the which is the which is the drawings that he wrote. Like the things that he had, the things that he had, a piece of the things that he had in his room before it got foreclosed. He gives one of the pieces to Callie, which I thought that was very nice of my boy Wyatt, even though the relationship would be later ruined because of Liam. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So Leah's not having a very nice Christmas. Yeah. So Steph confronts about confronts that Lena gives Steph some earrings, diamond earrings, and she's like, I hope these aren't real. And she's like, of course they're real. And Lena's just not having any day. Steph, being an inconsiderate wife, Sharon and Steph's problems. Yeah, so Sharon gives them a present, which is for Mariana, Callie, and Brandon to go to college. They only have 3, and I don't think I had Jude. But yeah, for them to go to college, for them to have college settlement money. So yeah, and they apologize, and then so they apologize to each other, and then the guy that he's just talking to says stuff about about back in his day you didn't need to be adopted, or something about how after his wife he and his wife would always go to see their cousins, but after his wife died they would invite him, but he just wanted to stay home. So yeah, and that makes Jesus feel so bad for the guy, he takes himself out of the running for the thing. So then Brandon and Callie at the time go and sounds, and Callie and Brandon are like, no matter what happens, no matter what setbacks we have, we will always follow our dreams. So then we get back to present day. We see Brandon just sitting there, and we see Callie in the white dress. We see Callie just going over to him. They sit down, but then they hear a siren coming from Robert's place, and basically that wraps up this episode. Okay, so this episode was really non-consistent. Like it didn't have much to the story of the show. It didn't have much to carry the characters on it. It was just a normal Christmas episode that they did. Like all they did was have a brain flashback to the. He could flash back to any point, but he flashed back to the Foster's because he saw a Christmas tree, and that's the entire episode. That's the entire episode. So yeah. So this episode is good, but it's just when he does say Merry Christmas to calls her half brother, Nathan, and says Merry Christmas, and that's basically what that. He says, hey, Lena, and she's like, Merry Christmas. Cuts the next scene. Like, yeah. And as I said, with the whole Lena being pregnant thing, I get in the normal episodes Lena's not pregnant, but if this episode's supposed to take place before that, why not mention or show that she's pregnant? Why not do that? Why not just fake her pregnancy? Like, show that she's just Photoshop her, do something. Like that's kind of what got me out of this episode. Not the whole. That episode was great, but I just felt like if this episode would take place counting Jude's first Christmas with the Fosters, and Leah was pregnant during that time, why not mention or show that she's pregnant? Like again in the current episode, she's not pregnant because she lost her baby, but this is supposed to take prior to those events. Why not mention or show it? Like I never got that. Like I was like, don't show that she's pregnant. Like I just don't get that. But it doesn't hinder the episode. It's just a little inconvenience. It's just a little thing that I have a problem with. It doesn't hinder the episode. This episode's still great. I was originally going to skip this episode, but I knew I couldn't because it's part of the airing order. So even though this episode doesn't add more to the story of our characters, like it doesn't add more to Callie's thing with Robert, it doesn't add to Brandon's thing with the band. It's just before then. And yeah, so anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next to Fosters. Next episode's better than this one. Just kidding.